Hi guys, welcome back. Hopefully this will have volume for you now. We are on 9.3 and we are talking about box and whisker plots. So yesterday we talked about putting data into a stem and leaf plot, which can be helpful to look at that data depending on how you want to see it. Today we're going to look at box and whisker plots, which is another way to plot data. And again, just a different way to look at the data. Okay, so here's an example of a box and whisker plot, which you probably saw in 6th grade. Okay, so take a minute, pause the video, and look at these three questions. What was the lowest math test score? What was the highest? What was the median score? And what do you think the Q1 and Q3 are? So go ahead, take a second, pause, and see if you can answer those questions without my help. So if we're looking at this, the lowest will always be this little dot here, okay? The little endpoint, okay? So I would say that's about probably 53, 54 would be my lowest test score. Okay, within 1 or 2 is fine. Usually they'll have little tick marks here showing you what's going on, but when they don't, we're rounding. Okay, our highest score would be our tick mark over here, which would be somewhere in 97, maybe 98. Okay, I'll go with probably 97. Okay, our median score is this middle line here. Remember, median means middle. Okay, so I would say that's probably 78, 79, somewhere in there. Okay, and then our Q1 and our Q3 is going to be right about here, which I would say is maybe 66, 67. And our Q3 is right about 90, I would say. All right. So we're looking at a box and whisker plot. Again, this is the highest. This is our Q1, Q2, Q3, and our highest. Okay. So they kind of go right in order with each other. Now we tend to see this a lot on the map test and even some of our SAT questions now. So being able to understand how you can find the range from this, because this is highest minus lowest, or you can find the interquartile range by doing Q3 minus Q1. All of these things are important in understanding what each piece of data this is telling me in these 5. Sometimes this is also called a 5-point summary or a 5-plot summary because it gives us 5 pieces of information. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and construct our own. And notice down here we counted by 5s. Okay. You're going to count by whatever works best with the data, and we'll explain that when we look at this data here. So we're going to find, we have 16 quiz scores, okay, let's say they were out of 15, and these were all the scores the students did. So the first thing it says is we're going to put the data in order. Now I sat here and did that before just so I wouldn't take up time in the video. And then step 2 is we're going to find the median. So we're going to find the middle number. So we're going to do our cross, 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 cross. And you can do more at a time if you want. So 7, 12, 7, 11, 8, this. So my median is 9, or my Q2 is 9, right? We can call our median Q2. And then we're going to find our Q1 by this half of the data. So 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 1. So that would be 7 for our Q1. Okay. And if you need help remembering how to find this at all, you can go back and watch our previous video. Okay, so our Q3 would be 12 in this case. And now we're going to plot on the number line. So when I need to decide how I'm going to plot my numbers on my number line, I'm going to look at my lowest number and my highest number. And then I'm going to look at my quartiles. Okay, we're going from 3 to 15, so I don't really want to count by 1s, but I could if I wanted to. I'll probably count by 2, so I'll start with 3 here. And then I'm going to go 5, 7, 9. I'm trying to space these as evenly as possible. 11, 13, and 15. Now I didn't use the entire number line, which you can, but it's not a huge deal, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a little tick mark at my lowest number here, kind of in the middle of my space, and then a tick mark at my highest number, which is 15. And then I'm going to make a bigger tick mark at my quartiles. So I have one at 7, and I try and center this big line here on this line, right? So they're kind of hitting at the same point here when I go to draw my line in a second. My second quartile is at 9, and my third quartile is at 12. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and connect those together and make a box, which is why it's called box and whisker. And these lines kind of look like whiskers. Now I might extend this line up just a little bit, and maybe this one over here too. Whoops. Okay, I don't want these ones to be the same size as this. They should be just a little bit smaller just to show that they're not a quartile. Okay. And notice this does split our data up into 4 chunks. So we have chunk 1, chunk 2, chunk 3, and chunk 4. Okay. So in theory, they should all be about equal. Okay. If the data isn't super spread apart. Okay. The closer the data are, the smaller those chunks will be. The farther apart the data is, the larger those chunks will be. If you have like a really long line over here, that typically means that you have some sort of outlier. Okay. All right, hope this helps. Go ahead and try that homework.